Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for some more Super Rugby preseason. Now, there's actually three games that are going to be happening all at the same time. First match is Highlanders Moana Pacifica. That has already kicked off. Same with the Hurricanes versus Crusaders. But this one that we are covering, it's coming from Navigation Home Stadiums in Pukekohe, looking like a beautiful afternoon. And it is Blues taking on the Chiefs. Now, this is always an exciting matchup. Two North Island sides when they do battle, always exciting. Come and see the Blues, Chiefs for Reed, and Chiefs for Prezi there as well. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think will be victorious in this matchup? Looking through at the starters for the Blues, they have got, once again, a very strong side for this Super Rugby competition. They've got the two different teams for two different halves. Of course, first half, we're going to see Ofa Toingafasi, Ricky Riccatelli, and Nepo Lulala as the front row. Patrick Tuipulotu and Cameron Suafua actually gets a chance at number 5. What's interesting is he did used to play a little bit more of that maybe blindside / number 8 role rather than being one of the locks. Akira Ioane 6, Dalton Papali'i, the captain, at 7, and then Hoskins, the 2-2, sort of in there at number 8. Finley Christie, and Stephen Perafeta to All Blacks as 19. Caleb Clark, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Rico Ioane, Mark Talea, and Jacob Ratamaitavuki-Nepkin. So it's fair to say the Blues are probably throwing out one of their strongest sides that they could for this first half here up against the Chiefs. They've obviously seen what the Chiefs did last week up against Moana Pacifica. They put in a really good show. Now we'll be looking to do the same thing again. And this is their side. It is going to be Ollie Norris, Bradley Slater, and Atu Moli as the front row. Manakai Selby-Rickett from the Highlanders to the Chiefs this year, with Lachlan McWannell slotting in at number 5, Natoa Akoi at 6, Sam Kane as the co-captain at 7, and Luke Jacobson slots in as number 8. Cortez Ratama and Bryn Gatlin, the two at 9 and 10. Mali out on the wing with Anton Leonard-Brown and the newly acquired Alex Nankerville. He's heading to Munster. Big opportunity for that man in the near future. Solomon Alaimalo, I should say, also another Highlander. And then also Josh Ioane, another ex-Highlander, slotting in there as number 15. So no Damian McKenzie in the starting lineup for the first half, but we do get to see the smiling number 10 in the second half, alongside, as you can see, some very good players in that backline. Nonetheless, we are only a few minutes away from the start of this match. Chiefs says ODW Vlogs, changing the name there. And hey, Tesla, how's it going? And the Blues are literally the All Blacks. They are. They've got a very strong side here. So you would assume that it's going to go well for them. But if it doesn't, then that kind of could backfire in some regards. Like if you think, right, we're going into this match with our strongest lineup, we should win easy. And then they really get a game up against the Chiefs here, they might start to question whether or not that tactic's what they're going to go with in Super Rugby. Do we experiment a little bit more? And where do we watch this game here in Aussie? I believe in Australia, it's Stan Sport, your best option, as this game is actually the only one that's not a free-to-air game out of all the preseason matchups. Sky did acquire this one here in New Zealand. The other games at the moment that are taking place, the Hurricanes, they are playing the Crusaders. That is live on YouTube. And also Moana Pacifica versus Highlanders, I believe that is live on Facebook. It's the option. And Amy might just got off work. Let's go. Up the Mighty Blues, says the snooze. So hopefully you did enjoy your day at work. I actually finished work in about, I'd say 4:30 p.m., somewhere around there. So that was quite good timing. We didn't get to do the test match earlier on just from work, but looking forward to the Super Rugby. We haven't covered a Blues game or a Chiefs game yet in the preseason fixtures. I have 69 subs on my channel, says Sam Henry Sports in there as well. Caleb Clark, big man on the wing. It's going to be Paul Williams in charge of this one. Kiwi ref Mike Winter, the assistant referee, and Ben Wallerton as the other assistant. Now, notably, no TMO, which does mean the decisions made on this field will stand. People might question them and possibly not agree with them, but at this stage, whatever happens, happens. It's about to kick off here in Pukekohe for this match. It's a very nice day by the looks of it. How's it going? Where's my pie? I didn't realize I owed you a pie or a Coke. And George said he's going to get me, says Ollie. I mean, I could ask George, but he'll probably send back something that I can't read out on live stream, I would assume. But now, just about to get underway, we will click the scoreboard. It is a different one than we will have for the Super Rugby season, but is it going to start going? Here we go. Promising. No GMO. Chiefs might have a chance, says Jobo. As well about the Chiefs, they have got this ball early on. Nice attack and run there from Lachlan McWannell. Sporting a new haircut this year. I'm interested to see how they use Samasoni Takiaho. Now, he's going to have about the number 39 on his back today for the preseason. Going to be kicked high from Cortez Ratama. Nicely taken by Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins. Taken by Natawa Koi Christie. Goes off now into the hands of their number 3, Nepololala. Christie goes back to Perafeta. I have to say, this is going to be an easy game to commentate because all the players very notable in this matchup. We don't really see too many changes for either side from what you may expect to see. Relatively what we would see for a season game. So it is quite good news for us here in the commentary box, also known as my dining room. In games, says it's news. I didn't know it was in Pukekohe. It was clearing trees in Witu. Hopefully I said that correctly. Or is it Afitu? Fitu maybe? I would have just went there. Would you like some muffins, Hamilton? No, I'm good. I wouldn't know where those muffins have been, Ollie. And going well. Score prediction, Blues 35, Chiefs 12 in there as well. Now it is going to be nicely passed back. Luke Jacobson goes it back across again. Kicked from Josh Ioane. Looking for space, but it's found Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins again, who gives it off to Perafeta. Thought he was going to be going through, but Anton Leonard-Brown lined him up. Akira Ioane, his first carry. 40 out now. In fact, they've got a 30-meter line for some reason here. Now, Kiriwani. Rico gets his first touch of the day. Finley Christie back across to Nepololala. Still continuing to drive nicely to the left-hand side. Perafeta gives it to Roger Torvasashek. Tackled well. Not too many missed tackles so far throughout this match by either side, which is good news for them defensive-wise for their Super Rugby Pacific campaign. Luke Jacobson taken out of that breakdown. Now Christie goes to Ioane. There's a slip and he almost made his way through, but does drop the ball. Chiefs now in possession. It's looking loose, but the newly acquired Munster man, Alex Nankervel, now has the ball in his hand. Steps beautifully. And Munster, they'll be watching this and going, oh, yes, we've got ourselves a bargain. It's carved down, though, by Caleb Clark. And now he's stepped and nailed. He's going to get himself the try. Munster, they'll be looking at their phones going, hang on. Sure, we have signed Clark instead. A brilliant bit of work from Caleb Clark from one end to the other almost. And Clark gets the first try of the match, 5-0 to the Blues. Just like that. And I'll say you got it. Afitu says the snooze and go to Mighty Blues. And we can be channel moderator, please. Saying how long I've been in your live stream. Says Sam Henry. At the moment, we have got, I guess, the number that we have been looking for. But anytime it's into like the busier season, that's normally when we look out for more moderators on the channel. But currently, we've got a pretty good like viewership to modder ratio, I guess you could say. But currently 3 minutes into this matchup and already the first try of the match for the Blues. Odin Barrett running the drinks today. I don't believe we see him in action. Unless maybe off the bench later on. I'm looking forward to the second half, though, because we're going to get to see Caleb Tangitau in action. Now, some of you guys might remember that name from the 7 circuit for the Kiwis. He's a great player, and I hope he does well at the Blues. We have to wait till the second half to see him. That's the thing. Even their second half backline's still classy. Perafeti's missed that kick, unfortunately. Gone off the right-hand side. Looks like there might be a bit of an injury here for Atumoli. Already only 4 minutes in. Just got to try my rugby challenge 4, be a pro. There's Sam Henry and Clarkie Demand. Says Nazi Williams. Yeah, Alex Nankervel. He had a brilliant run. And then, unfortunately, just tried to chip it over the top of Caleb Clark, who picked it out of the air. Scored the try. But now, Blues, they sit 5-0 up after the 4 minutes or so. Somehow my scoreboard has drifted behind. How is that possible? We're only 4 minutes in, it has stopped working. Oh no, boom. There we go. All of a sudden it just realized what was going on. It's going to be a blow of the whistle, penalty against the Chiefs for offside. This is a preseason match. It is. So the real season starting next week. Got some big matches coming up. Moana Pacifica versus the Fijian Drua. That will be one of them. Who else plays in the very first round? We're going to have a quick look and make sure that I don't say the wrong sides. There's a lot of matches to look forward to, though. And big news, Hamish. Alex Nankerville will be wearing red instead of black next season as he becomes a Munster man next season. He is indeed. And you'll hope that he plays better than he just did, because he did break the line, but then actually set up Caleb Clark for the first Blues try. Sadly. And try already go the Blues, says Desla. And hello, says Nick. Welcome in, mate. Try doing well. Here comes Ricky Riccatelli off the back at the moment. Should mention that there are other preseason matches taking place for Super Rugby, although it doesn't seem like they've got the score updating on the app that I'm using anyway. Caleb Clark taken down by Bryn Gatlin, 25 metres out from the line currently. Christie goes across. Good attack and run from Tuipulotu. Again to the right-hand side. And kia ora, says Anazi. An afternoon, Kiwi lad. Go the Blues. Welcome in, mate. I will admit, I know zilch, nada, nothing about him. Okay, well, don't just base it off what just happened. He's a very good player. In fact, he's been extremely unlucky to miss out on All Black selection. It's just they've got that many centres that they don't really know what to do with them. He's a good one to have. If he's alongside, have you guys still got Dialendi next year, or is that who he's replacing? What's up, says Dylan. Welcome in. Going to be the penalty this time to the Chiefs. Only 15 metres out from their line. Ricky Riccatelli, the man penalised for that one. So, the first round games are as follows. The Chiefs play the Crusaders. That's a pretty big first match. That's a Super Rugby Aotearoa final rematch. Then later on that night, it is Brumbies versus Waratahs. Then on the Saturday, it's Moana Pacifica versus Fiji and Drua, Highlanders versus Blues, and then Reds versus Hurricanes. So that Highlanders Blues is actually a rematch of the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman final. And then on the 12 a.m. time, Western Force versus Rebels. That one's obviously in Perth. And yeah, she's a late night game. Is Barrett playing? He's running the drink, so I don't believe he's coming on for the second half. Oh, Alex Nankerville again breaking the line. It's going to be dropped by Cortez Ratama, his teammate, though. And now Perofeta picks it up, tries to go for the chip in behind. Beautifully charged down by Ollie Norris. Now loose ball. Roger Torwashek does get it. Thinks about running at the line, gives it off to Makalia. He's now dropped it, and we're going back for the scrum. This does look a little bit like preseason. And he's replacing Malakai Fekatoa, who has ended his contract early. He'll be pairing or partnering Antoine Frisch, hopefully I say that correctly, in the centre pairing. I assume he's an inside centre. He is inside centre, but he's actually playing 13 for this match. So he can slot between the two. So he's quite a versatile player to have there. And I think he also, if needed, can go out to that wing. And Barrett on the waters, says Nazi Williams. Is Bowden Barrett playing? Only playing in terms of running drinks. I don't believe he's expected in the second half. I'll have a quick look and see who they've got as their interchange players, just to see if he does sneak in there somewhere. Nah, he's not in the backs that they've gone with. They've got Jock McKenzie, Tui Tui Po, and also Nigel Awong as the three replacement backs. So perhaps saving him a little bit. You know, you don't want to risk his injury in the first preseason game up against the Chiefs. Definitely not when you got the Crusaders next week. No, sorry. If you got the Highlanders next week. And also put the screen on your dog, says Keelan. Well, Keelan, unfortunately, copyright exists. So I can't show you what I can see. But I can tell you, Keelan, I'm having a great time watching it. Got it right here. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm absolutely loving seeing it. Unfortunately, Fekatoa hasn't worked out well enough. I'd say his time away from home was too much for him. He's a very 50-50 player, Malakai. Like, he either does well or he does badly. And unfortunately, when he plays badly, he really plays badly. And if Stan didn't have the rugby, I wouldn't get it. Movies are average, says Jobo. Yeah, I ended up paying for like 3 months of Stan Sport. Or Stan rather than Stan Sport, because I forgot to cancel it. Where can you watch it? This one, unfortunately, is only on Sky Sport or Stan. Anywhere else, like the other games are actually on for free on YouTube. The Hurricanes versus Crusaders and Highlanders versus Moana Pacifica. That is also on Facebook to be able to watch that one. And Mutt Dog, all these positive names lately, Says Nazi Williams. Yeah, you can tell we're getting close to the kind of World Cup. Everyone's a bit hostile at the moment, aren't they? And also we have got, yes, says Reed. Or sorry, that was Nick. And also we have got there, put it on, bro. Don't want to hear you. So the best way to do that, Keelan, is to mute me. And that way you can just see the scoreboard updated. It's a good way of doing it. But yeah, copyright exists, which I know sounds like a hard concept, but pretty much it means if I show the game, I get copyrighted and then I have to pay money. So rather than me paying money for legal fees and, all that jazz, maybe just by Sky Sport, it's easier. Caleb Clark now driving forward 40 meters out from the Chiefs line. Sam Cane trying to get the turnover, and he does. The Chiefs go captain. And also, why is it not live yet or on YouTube? Pretty much this game, I think it's because Sky got the rights early on. So that was pretty much the gist of it. They locked in this game as the one that they wanted. Every other game's been for free, which doesn't really make sense, in my opinion, to just have one game of preseason not available for everyone. But that seems to be the way that they have kind of gone with, unfortunately. And as Eden Park and Pukekohe, it just looks better than Navigation Home Stadium, which is where they are playing. But it's a nice enough ground. It just Eden Park looks a bit crisper, doesn't it? Is this televised? It is on Sky Sport 1 or Stan. Those are the two options. Unfortunately, it's not for free, but you can catch the Hurricanes Crusaders game for free on YouTube. I believe it's on the Hurricanes YouTube channel, and then also Highlanders versus Moana Pacifica, I believe is either on Moana Pacifica's YouTube channel or on the Highlanders Facebook page if you're in New Zealand. And hey, Hamish, how you doing today? Doing very well, mate. Hope you're doing well. Plenty of All Blacks on the field today. Says Nate. Yeah. The Blues whole starting lineup, like half of them have played in the black jersey very recently. Moving up to the 22 now for the Chiefs. Another penalty goes the way of the Blues. It seems to be any time a side starts to build that little bit of momentum, unfortunately, the penalty goes against them. 2 blue over the ball. That was Ricky Riccatelli doing well. Lachlan McWannell struggling a little bit there. Now Peter Feta kicks it downfield. Is that actually is that the hot chips and hot dog cart right next to the field? I feel like the players at halftime will be all over that. They'll be like, yep, easy. Don't even have to almost leave the field at all. Best place to have it, though, because they pretty much get to watch the game live as it happens through their camper van slash thingy-mabob. One more week. Are you watch F1, man? I'm not an F1 guy. Not so much because I don't enjoy it. It's just more I have no idea what's going on. But Isaac, one of the other Kiwi lads, he follows F1 a lot. So he would be a good one to talk to. We've actually talked about maybe doing Formula One streams. The future is John Rain playing this game. John Rain, John Ryan. John Ryan. Not that I know of. He's not in the starting lineup for either side at any stage anyway. Could be off a reserve bench maybe. And yes, please, says Nick. Yeah, so I'd certainly need Isaac for that one because he's the brains of the operation when it comes to Formula One. I have no idea what's happening. Like when they're like, oh, I'm going to change this traction and get the, is it the DRS, the DLS? What's the thing that goes, that thing? That's my Formula One knowledge. Now the Blues, another penalty one, so they will kick this one towards the touchline. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck walking with a little bit of swagger, but it's actually a limp at the moment, unfortunately. Looks like he might have hurt one of his legs. I assume he's been helped for the new season. He joined Waikato from Munster for this season. The DRS, is that it? Is that the one that it either? I know that on a Formula One game, you press a button and it does it, and it speeds you up a little bit. They look like slipped off any tackles yet. He scored a try. He hasn't really slipped off any tackles, but for that try, he didn't need to because it was just pretty much given to him. I want the Blues to win, says Sam Henry. And now dry and sunny here in Ox today, says Nazi Williams, which is great news, really, because it's been very damp indeed. That's going to be a Chiefs scrum now. All actually got stuck in there. I think they might have, was there a knock on? Or did they manage to just get straight through? Yeah, I think that ball just ended up, just collapsed. And then the Chiefs, they will get themselves a scrum. Early prediction, do you think Roger Tuivasa-Sheck makes the World Cup squad? It's tricky because if he does, I don't see him as a starter. I feel like he's probably going to be a guy off the bench. But then looking at how they've used him in the past off the bench, is there much point him being there if they're only going to give him like 3 minutes at the end of the game? You know, it's it's a tricky one because if you've got Goodshoe and Leonard Brown both match fit, if you've got Geordie Barrett slowly transitioning to inside centre, like don't get me wrong, he's a great player and he's got that kind of superstar factor, but how many inside centres do we need? That's the question. Darius is like a pneumatic nitrous oxide. Nice. And although I love to help or play help with your F1 if needed, like another racer, if you did it, says Nick there. And Roger Tulvasashek doesn't have legs. The bloke has tree trunks. Yeah, he's a solid boy, Roger. One thing I've noticed, lack of colourful haircut this year in Super Rugby. I remember when we went through that lockdown stage a couple of years ago. Everyone had pink hair, like blonde tips, blue hair. I think everyone, either they haven't been to their barbers yet. I mean, Finley Christie's putting in an effort, but that's just his natural hair colour. He's the odd one out in terms of the colouring. Hoskins Tutu looks like he's trying something different at the back. Going with the dreads this year. Interesting. Couple little pigtails. Other than that, yeah, nothing too new, too unique hairstyle wise. Is that something you do the week before the comp though? Amelia said, "Hi, welcome in. Hope you're doing well." Only 16 and a half minutes through, just the one try so far. Unfortunately, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck down full in the 15-man game. As his kicking game, that's his disadvantage. Is Nazi Williams. Yeah, for me, if you're going either Geordie Barrett or Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, I think you're picking Geordie Barrett because he can kick. Thinking of who else you've got. Goodshoe and Leonard Brown, maybe it's a little bit more of a, he could get that spot, definitely with his chemistry with Ioane, depending on how they go. Now, Feta once again, doing very nicely. And man says, Shadow Ninja, welcome in, mate. And how's everyone doing? Says, you're doing well. Excited. More Super Rugby preseason. I love it. Quick paced. Always seems like the games aren't long enough, to be honest. We're already 17 minutes through. And I wish we were only like 3 minutes in. And 1 week till the best league in the world starts again, says Amelia. And Kia ora, says Ardil. I'm morning to you, Kiwi. Some of my fellow countrymen are bragging about Kalen Doris being the best date in the world. I'm trying to bring them back down by reminding them there's a guy named Artie Savia, says Connor. I have seen an abundance of very, I guess, not opinionated, but I've seen a lot of happy Irishmen on like social medias and whatnot, which is great because at least one thing's for sure, they're going to support their side into that World Cup. I just hope that if the World Cup doesn't go well, those same people stick by their side rather than turning their back straight away. There are a lot of people who jump on the Irish bandwagon when they're going well and then desert them when they don't. I hope that that's not going to be the case because I think at the moment Ireland almost have more support than they ever have, which is great because I know George was talking about it. They get quite a few Irish workers like for their farm, and even the ones who don't follow rugby, because Ireland are now number one in the world, there's some of those ones who jump on that wagon and say, look at us. Like, we'd beat your All Blacks, even though they don't know a single Irish player in the side. But, it's good, the support that they're getting. Ireland versus England is going to be good. It certainly is. Also, that is what success does to you. It causes you to become a muppet, says Connor Kao. And those Irishmen who are doing this are wearing blue underneath. It's bloody 40 degrees in Melbourne. That's a bit warm. We're only 18, so we're all right here. But yeah, it's very hot. Right to Tuivasa-Sheck. Gave it out to Mark Talia, who got his first run of the day. Big fend on the face of Ngātoa Koi. A lot of the Blues are looking rather ginger and not Finley Christie. Like, just in their way they're walking in their backs. They've either had a hard training yesterday or something and the legs are still feeling it, or I mean, we can see how physical this game's been so far. You just hope everyone gets away with no injuries. That's a rough pass from Finley Christie. Just gave it away. And now it's going to be the big man down the wing. Male tries to put it in behind. Nicely taken by Ratamata Vuki Nepkins. It's a fun name to say once you get the hang of it. Now, Christie. Oh no. Nisbet just butchered it in the commentary box for Ratamata Vuki Nepkins. Now, Finley Christie with it at the back. A little bit of push and shove between one of the Blues. Oh, Hoskins, Atuda was looking at the player, not the ball, and he's dropped it. Now counter attack from the Chiefs. Joshuani joins the line, gives it off to Nankerville. Inside ball, beautifully taken by Lachlan McWhannell, the big man flying. Doesn't find the offload to the player he was after, but now he's found Leonard Brown. Inside ball to Nankerville again. Breaks through the tackle almost of Patrick Tuipulotu. Now Natoa Akoi, the Chiefs only 10 metres out. Cortez Ratama goes across to their number 37. I'm going to have no idea who that is. And it's the penalty to the Blues. Aircon on. I swear to God, if any Irishman working in New Zealand behaves like this, I would have them disowned on the spot. We want to be liked, but we've thrown away that luxury. Excuse Connor. And overconfidence makes you careless. Very true. Very true. Sometimes that pressure can make a diamond, but also sometimes that pressure can just wear on you. Even when you're not playing, just knowing that you're supposed to be like a lot of players at the top of their games, half of the time it's about trying to find that balance of not overworking yourself. Because when you know, right, my team's number one in the world, anytime you're sitting still, you're like, I should be training, I should be in the gym, I should be practicing, should be getting better in some way. And then that's normally when those players start to get those little injuries that turn into major injuries. And then all of a sudden you're out for 9 months and a lot can change in that time. When did you get your haircut? I think it was about 3 weeks ago, somewhere around there. And we have 46. 46. 46 is too warm, isn't it? And signed for Munster in 2024. A few Chiefs players are already signed overseas after World Cup 2, I reckon. Thoughts on the Chiefs' future? I mean, I think a lot of the New Zealand sides are going to look a little bit lighter than they did before the World Cup. But at the end of the day, that's the perfect time for players to go overseas, show what they can do on the, I guess, the international follow-up stage. And, kind of, oh, oh no, Alex Nankerville's booted that one out on the full. So like I mentioned, doing better overseas is what they'll be aiming for. Sounds like Nankerville might end up like a Jonah Lowe, who waits in Ireland long enough for 3 years since he's going there next year, says Simi Souza. James Lowe, rather than Jonah. And by the way, Yuri Antonio got a 3-week ban for the head clash with Herring for your punishment. Yeah, I think it was warranted. At the end of the day, it was a red card offence. They just got lucky that he didn't get a red card. Hope Millen doesn't stick with Joshuani at the back. I put an actual fullback there, Alomalo or D-Mac. Yeah, if you're going Gatlin at 10, you've got to go D-Mac 15, I think. Which, I mean, they've got Stevenson there for the second half. That might be a decent shot. Although Stevenson, I know, normally goes a little bit better out on that right wing. But maybe, since Liam Coon's Fabling's going all right. Stevenson, I do prefer D-Mac 15, though. Right, Med James Lowe there. Are you going to any Rebels games this season? Me? I don't think so. That I know of anyway. Do the Highlanders or Crusaders play Rebels here, Amelia? Do let me know. That would be the only way I get to a Rebels game, I think. I don't think I'll be going to Australia for one. And fair enough. But I'd say they have bragging rights considering they've been good this year. When they were humbled by La Rochelle last year, I was mind blown, says Amarik. Nicely taken by Gatlin. Bit of space. Oh, that was just a shoulder charge into his leg. That looked a little bit dirty from whoever that was. Kicked him behind from Talia. Goes into the 22. Joshuani takes the mark. Only 24 minutes through this matchup. Scoreboard's just realised. Sad hours, says Amelia. And yeah, I agree. It sucks. Hope temperature drops soon, says Nate. Yeah. I hope it's no hotter than 20 tomorrow because we're going to be playing cricket at that same ground that I originally got my tan from. But the tan started as a burn. We play the Highlanders away, so there's a chance We play the Crusaders at Amy Park, says Amelia. Also, if you play the Highlanders away, that would be a game in Dunedin, wouldn't it? Now, Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins tackled on the halfway line. Little grubber attempted in behind, both chasing that one. Hoskins, the 2-2 manages to clean it up. I think Sam Cane decided to leave it for Gatlin, who didn't actually get it. The Blues keeping this one in. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck gets to play half, goes back to Ricky Riccatelli. Perafetta now sells the dummy. They've got the advantage as well. Breaking through one, finds the offload to Ratamaitavuki Nepkins. Christie plays half. Goes to the right-hand side. Nicely cut back in by Akiriawani. Runs straight at McWannell. At number 37, getting physical in the breakdown. Doesn't get the ball now. Christie kicks it in behind. Dalton Papali after it. Taken by Josh Ioane. Low play for the Chiefs. He did, although now Jonah Lowe is at the Highlanders. I know that he has made that transfer. That seems to be almost like a straight swap for Ali Marlowe, really. Seems like they've both just gone straight across. And it's currently 9:25 p.m. here in Vancouver. And I'm looking outside my window and there's snow. Really? There's kind of, oh, Lachlan McWannell's actually been yellow carded for that one. Right. Okay. So they've actually just described what's happening. When you get a yellow card, the TMO has 8 minutes. If they want to review it, they can review it. And during that 8 minutes, they can then decide that it can actually be a red card. Okay. So Hamilton Burr's now out on the field. Now, seeing as this is preseason, it makes sense to a certain extent, but both sides have agreed that if you get a yellow card, you make a straight swap and then you just continue playing. WGF says it's new. So, yeah, hopefully I explained that correctly. I'll explain it again, though. If you get a yellow card during the regular season, while you're off the field, the TMO has 8 minutes to review it if they want to, and then they can then upgrade that from a yellow card to a red card. Then you can no longer come back out on the field. And then once your yellow card time's up, there's an additional 10 minutes because you've got the red, and then you can replace that player. Does that make sense? It's a bit of a weird one, but when we see it during the season, I'm sure that it will happen at some stage. No, nice run from the Blues. That sounded like I said no, but I meant now because they are extremely close. 1 meter out. 1 meter out. Oh, I'm too excited at the moment. Or maybe just confused. Oh, Ratamaitavuki Nepkins just stretches out, scores the try. That'll be the second of the Blues now. And we'll add the points. There we go. We'll give them those ones. All goods. Our temperatures drop down to later in the evening. Keep the snow, my guy. And do you have a Discord server? We do. We have a Kiwi Lads Discord server. There are about 25 to 30 of us on there, I believe. I'm not sure what the link is. I can try and find that at halftime. G'day, mate. Says Jacob, welcome in, mate. Do see you've changed your profile picture and you got yourself a nice. Is that the Universal Championship or the? It looks like one of them. It might be just the WWE Championship, is it? Looks like a big one anyway. And what do you think of the new laws that are being introduced for Super Rugby Pacific? I think there are laws that maybe will help the game, but there are laws that might also confuse the players when they get into their World Cup mode. You don't want to confuse them too much early on. I'd say I'd rather freeze to death than put up with this heat, says Amelia. And don't see any team going red this year. Hopefully not, says the snooze. Although I guess it might. Like for one of those ones. So it's actually the case of, I believe the referees on field will get to make that decision. First of all, right? Rather than going through the TMO and going, okay, he's dipping a bit. They'll go, right, it's at least a yellow and then the TMO. But then the TMO by himself, surely he's got to be talking to someone else about it, or else then the TMOs can just pretty much choose what happens in the whole game. Wait, we've got a minute and a half left of the first third of this game. It's a 90-minute match, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know. That's made me more excited, though, because that means we're going to have a lot more time out there on the field. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck tries to get the ball away, but Mali able to cut it off. Now Sam Cane, the skipper, ripped down by Akira, or in fact, it was Rico Ioane. stolen in the breakdown by the Blues for half a second, then a knock on from the Chiefs. On-field needs to stay at his, without a team, my opinion. What are your wild prediction for Super Rugby 2023? Or for Rugby 2023? So, Super Rugby champions, I'll say someone other than the Crusaders win it. I guess that's a wild prediction because currently the Crusaders look like once again the side to beat. In fact, this would be even wilder. How about a side other than the Crusaders or the Blues win Super Rugby? That would be a big one. Rugby World Cup, Ireland to make the quarterfinals. Because that's something they've struggled to do in the past, isn't it? Ryan Reynolds films most of his movies here too. I see, and I can't watch the Landers match. Is it still on Facebook, Max, or have they taken it off? Or is it on Moana Pacifica's YouTube channel? I'm in Australia, from Auckland. Right, ball going in now for Finley Christie. So this will be slightly confusing at times, but it is a game of 3/3, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Finley Christie goes back across to Stephen Perifetta. Good step. A great tackle made by Luke Jacobson, although he did right up round the neck by the end of it, so probably got a little bit lucky to not be penalised too badly for that one. They've got another advantage. Okay, so they will be going back for it if it does come to it. Now, Rico Ioane goes to Talia. Passed outside to Riccatelli, sorry, I should say. Big shot on him. Ex-Hurricanes players did head to the Blues last year and a little bit of success. We haven't seen Kurt Eklund in action yet, and I don't know whether he is in either of the starting lineups. I believe it's actually Sawani Vakina that will be making his way out into the park soon. Dalton Papali'i versus Sam Cane. The same battle that might be coming at the stage of the World Cup. Who will get that starting lineup spot? Nice tackle made on offer. Tuanga Fasi again. Interception by Male. Can anyone catch him? Jacob Ratumaita Vuki Nepkin's not going to get there. That's a fun name to say. Male almost made 22 meters by the time I finished his name. But that will be the first try of the match for the Chiefs. Boom, boom, boom. 7 points on the board for the Chiefs. Sam Cane playing like his name is a final. Settle down, mate, says Jobo. It's good though. He needs that intensity. He needs to help wake himself up. It's already 12-0 now. It's 12-7 in this matchup. The ball bounced out. Ricky Riccatelli made that mistake trying to go to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck on the outside. It doesn't work out. And Mali, watch this on. Says, Pate, if you're talking about where you can see the game, it is on Sky Sport 1 here in New Zealand, Stan Sport in Australia. I don't believe there's any other options other than that, unfortunately, though, which is a shame. But yeah, Sky Sport 1 for being able to watch this one. And the recording ain't happening. Says Max. Which recording we talking, Max? Oh, the recording of your Sky, I assume. Is it? And have you ever considered going on strike, Hamish, like the Welsh players? Says Stephen. No, I don't think I'd get away with taking a week off. Like, I had, 4 days where I didn't do a live stream, and I came back and everyone acted like I'd been, like, missing for 4 months. Everyone was like, it's nice of you to finally show up and do a stream. And then, like, yeah, anytime I don't do a stream for a couple of days, everyone thinks that I've, like, disappeared off the planet, which isn't the case. But we got plenty of live streams during the weekends. That's good news. We've got the Super Rugby next week. We've got URC tomorrow evening after playing cricket, which we are also recording because we're getting videos for that as well. We got plenty going on. I personally take Papali'i over Cane. I think a lot of people would. Just because not only is he younger, but also it seems like he's got a little bit more left in the tank. In terms of being out there on the field, running down the wing, that's something you don't see from Sam Cane, but Papali'i often finds himself out there trying to find that opportunity. I just should probably stop my clock. We'll go like this. We'll stop the timer and we'll go back by 3 minutes. We'll go boom, 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 and then that. Right, I can't actually see what time this is. Is it going to end up exactly 40 or 30? No, it's 3 seconds off. Didn't quite get it right. There we go. Perfect. Lovely. Fiji Drawer says Uppy, they had a good win in their game yesterday up against the Western Force. about 40, was it 43 to 33 or something like that? They're looking good this year, hopefully. And we are going to be covering all of the Fiji and Drua games on the channel, which I'm very excited for because they bring something to this competition like that some people didn't realize that they needed, which was that extra unpredictability factor. They got a good squad. Benaya Habosi, absolutely brilliant player, and was for me, probably breakout player of 2021/2022, actually, sorry. My All Blacks lose four trio, Shannon Frizzell, Dalton Papali, and Artie Savia. At number 8 says Amarik, solid enough. I'll slap it on the barbecue. Kale, few shrimps in there. And happy late New Year's, Amy. Let's go, or Hemi, let's go rugby time. Says Blues Nate. Oh, sorry, that was actually the snooze. And I'm going to make my first thumbnail during the week because I'm going to live stream the Rebels game next week. I'm hella nervous, says Amelia. So who are they playing? The Western Force, aren't they? That late night game. And boss, what's Kiwi Lads' schedule for this weekend? So the plan at this stage, this can all change, of course, depending on whether or not my cricket happens, which I believe it should. The weather looks pretty good for tomorrow. So it will be first live stream. I'm just going to have a very quick look and make sure that I've got the right thing. I know we're doing both URC games in the middle of the night, though. They're both going to be taking place. Fiji versus Moana Pacifica. Yep. Massive match next week. We covered it right here on the channel as well. So we've got the Roosters play Manly tonight. I don't even remember that game was taking place. So if we're home in time, we might try and do Panthers versus St. Helens, but more than likely we will end up doing URC at 2 a.m., Lions versus Sharks, URC at 4:05 a.m., Bulls versus Stormers, and then I believe the plan is to either do England versus New Zealand the next day after that, or maybe the Warriors versus Storm game. And then from there, it will kind of just be a make it up as I go in terms of which test match we get a little bit of action for. And then same can be said about Monday, mainly test match cricket. I'll try and get those scheduled as soon as possible on the day so you guys know exactly when it is taking place. Island fans of the New English. That's what Hamish is trying to say diplomatically, says Stephen there. Lucky for you, draw opening game is next weekend in Auckland against the Moana. And Arbosi, unfortunately, has gone to Racing Metro in France. Oh, has he? To be fair, it was only a matter of time till someone signed him, wasn't it? Because he's a beast. And he's hopefully going to do very well over there as well. And I'm wanting the community to beware of cocky Irish supporters, says Connor. And what's your Super Rugby Pacific team? Luckily, I'm kind of halfway in between location-wise, the Highlanders and the Crusaders, so I find it very easy to be impartial, and I just love watching all these sites play. That was unfortunate, but lucky it happened during a break rather than in the middle of the one. So the end of the first third of this matchup, Clint McWannell looks like he might not be too far away from getting back out onto the field. I think we've got a solid loose forward trio right now. Last season answers a lot of questions, and Ryan is feeding healthy despite other issues. With our trio plays against multiple teams. It's always at 3. There's options. There's the snooze there. It was a hay fever alert, Hamish. Yeah, a bit of hay fever. Also, probably concrete dust, as that was what I was doing while working. It could be either concrete dust or sand dust. Right, Damien McKenzie and Brad Weber still yet to get the chance at this stage. It turns out the Aussies know how to bat for once, says Amelia. And will you do a Be a Pro on Rugby Challenge 4? Probably not a Be a Pro. I think me and George have been talking about maybe doing a career mode at some stage, but that's probably when the lounge gets finished rather than sooner. If someone can put Kiwi Lads Discord server in the chat, please, because I would love like to join, says Ollie. I'll find you the link. A moment, we'll go like this. How do I invite people? If I go like that, I guess. Right, that might be the link. to the Discord. But I could be wrong, right? Already we're seeing quite a bit of a quick pace start to the second half. It's going to be a little knock on from the Blues, though. And now the Chiefs, they will have themselves the scrum. Hamish Old Man, yes. Yes. But we probably got one stack Lucy. Rick 61 says it's news. Yeah, see, Ireland at the moment, they've got a lot of great players in that loose forward trio. Peter O'Mahony. You've also got who's Blesses? Blesses is a new one as well. Who's accounts as Blesses? Do let me know. But yeah, you've got Peter O'Mahony, Caelan Doris, Josh Van den Flair, Jack Cohn. Who else? There's another guy who I should be able to think of, but I can't at the moment. Far too much weight in the front row. That's a bit harsh from you, Mr. Paul Williams. I'm sure they've been bulking up for the off season. Now the Blues, they look like they want to go for another scrum. It'll actually be pretty easy for me to make thumbnails for live streams because of my photo editing experience. It's my Virgin River fan page. And also Kian Prendergast, that is true. There's another guy that I'm thinking of as well, which I'm sure if anyone puts him... Does he play for Ulster? No. Is he another Leinster guy? I can't think of him at the moment, unfortunately. Lee says hi. Welcome in, Lee. And even Fiji has such depth in the back row indeed. And Prendergast. There's Amrik. All right. Finley Christie. Puts the ball in now. Stationary scrum. Now have to use it. It looks like they will be going off the back with Hoskins Tutu. Passes now to Ratamaitavuki Nepkins, who took the ball just behind him. Finds the offload to Perafeta, who's got Talia with him, but he decides now to offload it. Maybe waited a little bit long. It's going to be another offside advantage, I believe. Nick Timoney, that might be it. Nick Timoney, the guy? Maybe not. See, one more. I'm sure as soon as I see the name, I'll be like, yep, that's the one. Is he a 6? It's not Jack Conan. Don't think it was Nick Timoney. Another advantage, 13 black offside. That's Alex Nankervell. Now out to the left. Bounce pass taken by Atene Nanasatoro. In fact, it's Solomon Alaimalo. He's now got the opportunity. That's the first time we've seen him with the ball in hand. Solomon Alaimalo. Last year was good experience. Hopefully, it gels well moving forward, says this news. And by the way, the Phantom himself made the announcement of where he headed at like 11 p.m. last night, going back to the West in to perform in Les Mis. Meanwhile, the rest of the cast stays put Australia. Says Amelia. It was a good step from Rico Ioane initially. It's a little bit too quick up. That time it was actually Luke Jacobson who also was penalised for offside. And how are you watching it, says Herman. So I'm watching it on Sky Sport 1. It's also available on Stan Sport, but sadly, because those two big broadcasters have bought the licensing, it's nowhere free to air, sadly. Because the last game for both sides in preseason was actually on YouTube. The Blues, they ended up playing the Hurricanes. That was free to air on the Hurricanes YouTube channel. Moana Pacifica played the Chiefs, and they ended up playing it on Moana Pacifica's YouTube channel. I mean, cheers, bud. I'd assume by that reaction, you've got Sky at a guess, Herman. And it's actually a game of 90 minutes rather than 80, which is a bit weird. But we'll take it. Beautiful pass from Finley Christie. Could have been a turnover, though, so he's got very lucky that it's gone into the hands. And Finley Christie now with the step. Going to get held up, is he? No. Managed to get the try in the end, Finley Christie, and that will now give the Blues just a little bit more on the board. Like that and like that. It should be a nice, easy kick. So that's going to make the score 19 points to 17 now. Ryan Beard. Gavin Coombs. Gavin Coombs is the one I was thinking of, Emmerich. Oh, I couldn't quite think of off the top of my head. He's quite young too, isn't he? The worst thing is, I said Ulster because I was thinking he wasn't Munster because I was like, he's not Peter O'Mahony, but yeah, he is actually in that Munster loose forward trio, isn't he? And I'm also rebuilding my Phantom display in my room, make room for more Virgin River books. And yes, sir, says Herman. Yeah, it's a good game at the moment, very fast paced, and a lot of subs going to be made in the near future. Tim Petafetta, 1 from 1 so far tonight. He's not 1 from 1 tonight, though. He missed a kick earlier, so I don't know who found that stat, but that one has gone over. That makes the score 19 points to 7. Yeah, did actually end up missing his first, and he did get the second kick, though. So they must have just forgotten that first one. Let's go, boys. Here's the snooze. 35 minutes through. It's going to be a weird scoreboard, I'll be honest. Because we're not in a half, we're in a third, and we're in the second third at the moment of this matchup. Josh Ioane, he'll be kicking off for the Chiefs here. Looking to go long and high. It's taken by Ratamaita Vuki Nepkins. Sit into touch. Do they take it quickly? They decide against it. They just said Te Tahuri Arangi. See, he was at the Crusaders last year, so I guess he realised that that was a waste of time because they played him like twice. And yeah, Ireland's Lucy's are freaking machines, says Rick. And I was going to say at the beginning, Hamish, I hope this Tasman Super ain't a turbo one, says the snooze. Tasman Super ain't a turbo one. See, straight away my brain goes Tasman Mako's Manawatu turbos, but I don't think that's what you're referring to, is it? Now Roger Tuivasa Sheck plays half off the Pitafetta on the halfway line at the moment. Big run from Cameron. Suafua, big offload, tries to find it. Didn't work out though. Now that looked like Sean Stevenson at number 35. That's a massive kick. Beautifully done. The 50-22 for the Chiefs from Sean Stevenson. So yeah, he's number 35 for this match. We've got to try and remember that. And yes, Gavin Coombs does play for Munster, says Amarik. I guess that's one benefit of doing the URC live streams in the Champions Cup. I've been learning a lot of these overseas players that, yes, you learn some of them in the Six Nations, but you get to see a little bit more of them when they're playing for their URC teams or stolen by a Kiriwani. They've kind of reversed that momentum that the Chiefs just tried to create. Caleb Clark tackled by Josh Ioane and Sam Kane. Now Christie back into the pocket. Oh, charged down by Jacobson. It's gone dead, though. I believe that will be a 22 dropout. Where can you watch the game? So your best bet is Sky if you're in New Zealand. It's on Sky Sport 1 or Stan Sport if you're in Australia. Unfortunately, other than that, they've got no free-to-air broadcasting for this matchup, sadly. But that is just because those big companies have brought just this game's license, which is weird. I don't see why they only did one. I would have thought you either buy the license for all the games or make all of them free to air. I feel like that's the better way of doing it. How's it a fast-paced game right now? Says the snooze there. I think sides are definitely going to get tired eventually, surely. But you've got plenty of changes. Tata Ratahuri Arangi. Is it off to number 22? I'll try and recognise the face. Is that Daniel Wrong? Maybe. Oh, reaching out. Chiefs score number 26. Simon Parker. I'm relying on Nisbet in my ears just a little bit to tell me who's got it. And cheers, bud. Cheers, Inky. No worries at all. That's going to be the try to the Chiefs. This one seems like both sides are really going to have some good chances throughout this matchup, which is great. So we'll give them confidence. It's a big yawn, but nice run from Simon Parker. And just drives through the tackle of Roger Tuivasa Sheck, who tried to slow him down. Ricky Riccatelli got bumped off. So that's where the momentum started. And then Satutu and Tuivasa Sheck both unable to stop the big man Parker from getting in for the try. And Game don't play forwards anymore by the sounds of it, Hammy. Says the snooze. Not in preseason anyway. Preseason's normally more about the backs than the forwards. But when we get into Super Rugby season, we will see a lot more of definitely that Blues forward pack doing quite a few carries. Like we've seen a fair amount of the Kiriwani, in set play scenarios, but Hoskins Satutu in open play, we've seen a little bit more of him. Sawani Vakina and Alex Hodgman are now both going to be making their way out onto the field. That's a last minute change, I believe, because it was going to be Josh Fusitua, who was going to be on there at 1, but now it's Hodgman. Tame Plumtree, he's out there on number 8. He originally wasn't going to be number 8. We'll just guess them by face, I think. And Caleb Tangitau, they've just mentioned, might also get the chance out there on the field. I see James Tucker. He is supposed to be number 5. Caleb Clark's gone off. Same with Ofa Toingafasi. Ricky Riccatelli's gone off. Stephen Perafetta's gone off. Rico Ioane's gone off. And Akira Ioane's gone off. Right, we all got that? We're all good? A lot of changes. Best way I put it that. And now all of a sudden, the Blues starting to drive nicely. Right, I want to see Caleb Tangitau with the ball in hand, but I believe he was going to be coming on at number 14, and Mark Talia's still out there. It might be one of the remaining players that they didn't actually decide to put out there. Off to the left, that looked like AJ Lamb out on the left. Yeah, so Tangitau, I don't think, has made his way out there yet. That was the Hurricanes game. I haven't actually seen the result of that match yet. I know that they were playing up against the Crusaders, but the app that I used didn't actually tell me what the score was. I'll quickly go on Instagram because I'm sure they would have put it on there and find out what the score was for you. Where's that German tank, Anton Segner? Is that him? No, he's not out there. Oh, no. Yep, number 7. He's out there now. Commentary is always good. Got it. Says the snooze. Hope we all doing. Hey. There's Brandon. Welcome in, mate. And all good, boss. Says Nate as well. Right. So if we go Crusaders. Oh, another change being made. Mark Talia's off. Caleb Tangitau has made his way out there. That's exciting because I've been watching him in action ever since he made his debut for the All Black 7 side. I've been keeping an eye on this guy. Oh, no, I just skipped it. I didn't see what was the end score? The answer is, it was 21-0 at half or 20 minutes through. All tied up. I think it ended 26-26 in that match between the Hurricanes and the Crusaders. They looked a little bit high. Now Milo Harris goes off for Wani Vakina. Give it to Tangitau. See what the youngster can do. Yep, they've gone out that way. Milo Harris now goes to Cameron Suafua. Getting driven backwards, finds the offload to Bryce Heen. Still got the advantage for the Blues. Milo Harris again goes off to the left-hand side. A short ball to Segner, almost ducked under the challenge. And equally bad. Equally bad, I guess, or equally good. Is it been on, or is it Essendon? Essendon, hopefully I've said that correctly. Not that I know of. I haven't heard the name. Oh, they've got 2. And Leota will captain the Rebels once his back. Brad Wilkin will be captain in the meantime. Up the mighty, let's go, says the snooze, and go Chiefs, yes, says Reed. And Rugby 7 season kickoff Rugby 7's championship, says Brad. That's the other thing. The Rugby 7s is coming back soon as well. So we're going to be very busy. But it's going to be fun. We're going to have Super Rugby. We're going to have some NRL squeezed in there. 7s, cricket, URC, Champions Cup. A lot of stuff. Now the rolling maul for the Blues. Starting to wheel here. Milo Harris decides to use it, gives it off now. Wide pass, Zahn Sullivan gives it now. Caleb Tangitau had to wait for it because Roger Tuivasa-Sheck said yours and set him up badly. They are going back for the original advantage. Yo, how are you watching? It is on Sky Sport 1 or Stan Sport, this matchup. They haven't got it free to air for this game, unfortunately. And thoughts on how the Aussies can stay competitive, build depth in their ranks in grassroots rugby? You don't have to answer this. I think it's just about trying to make sure that all of the best players, when it comes to rugby, don't go straight into league. You got to give them something that says rugby union's the way to go. And that's tricky to do because league at the moment, you'd say that that's where some of the money is. So they're going to be chasing that, of course. Go the mighty, says King Williams. Right. There's a yellow card. It's the big number 18. Couldn't tell you what his name was because it ain't George Dyer. But because of the rotating, we actually get to see just them stay at 15. You just get a yellow card. So if you're a forward and you're tired, you just clothesline someone, you get a break. And I was like, yes, Sammy, a Euro is the way to go. Says the Snoozers guys was one everyone at the game. Put on tomorrow on YouTube. Says Brandon and go the mighty Blues. Says King Williams. And also, no, you don't need to do rugby sevens. I will do all the games. Says Brandon. No, we are going to be covering the rugby sevens. It's not too far away. Samoa and New Zealand somehow ended up in the same group again. That will be a great game to watch. One for Kena now. Throws the ball taken nicely by Patrick Tuipulotu at the front. Now they're rolling more of the Blues. So far, the Chiefs have managed to defend it pretty well. But looks like it's now starting to wheel slightly to the left, which sets up Sawani Vakina to be able to go around. Look like Tame Plumtree's been taken out off the side. Sawani Vakina held up, but he got it down, he said. But Teita Roa Tahuri Arangi ended up with the ball at the end of the move. We might have to see a replay of that one. Adam Ross says lose Nate there. Sawani Vakina scores the try. Nicely done. We'll add some points. Hang on. Boom, boom. There we go. We won't give the conversion yet because it's a little bit tricky. It just ended up going through. Did he get it down? We're going to have to see this from a slightly different angle. I'm sure once we see it from the... Oh, tell you what, he's done a pretty good job, Triple T, to be able to stop that one from going down. And I think in an actual match, they may have had a little bit more of a look at that. Hurricanes 120. Oh, so the Hurricanes got the last minute win. Because I did see that it was 26-26 with about 12 minutes to go. Somewhere around there. Zahn Sullivan got that kick over, so he will be the new kicking option now that Perofeta is no longer out on the field. That will make the score 26 points to 14. Okay, so they've just said Tupavai, Brody Retallick, Samasoni Tokiaho. He's now out there on the field. Is Damian McKenzie on? Brad Weber is on. Looks like there's going to be about... Okay, more changes being made. We'll just go with it, I think, at the moment. Also, that news next. I am put down Sam, my dog, says Brandon. So sorry to hear that, Brandon. Sada's just posted it on the Instagram. Oh, so they just did it as I finished looking at their story. Yep, there it is. 4 minutes ago. I think I checked it, 6 minutes ago, something like that. Straight after. They put it on right. That ball's gone into touch. It will be a Chiefs line out. Samasoni Tokiaho wearing the number 39. They're covering day 3, says Brandon. Probably not day 3 of the cricket, unfortunately. That is due to me actually playing cricket. So, yeah, we will be missing that one. But hopefully we can get some of day 4. Now, Brad Weber is back to D-Mac. Puts the ball high. Going to be a tough one to take, but Roger Tuivasa-Sheck runs onto it beautifully. That's those NRL days coming back. Hodgman, short ball to James Tucker. It was a no-look pass, so he almost made his way straight through him. Big Brody's been penalised. And big boy Ollie Norris, I think he's somewhere. In fact, he might not be out there just yet. I think they've got Aiden Ross and George Dyer at the moment. Ollie Norris, I think, is going to be one of the other subs they can make. In fact, no, he actually started the match, so he might be off now because he wasn't their starting lineup. Before day 4 happened, I did not see New Zealand win. No, I think if we get to day 4, New Zealand are probably in with a little bit of a shot. Like, they are a massive amount behind at the moment, and Toki better not drive. The 5-metre line is going to be a threat, says the Snooze. He's a tough man. Very tough man. Samasoni Takiaho, and even harder to put down Now Tuipulotu, once again, the Blues. They're going to try and go for that rolling maul. It's going nowhere. Wait, why when did that happen? The Blues are now going the other way. So I guess at 45 minutes, they decided to switch ends. And now the Blues are going from right to left. I didn't even realize till now. I was like, hang on, the Blues are going for another rolling maul, except they're going the wrong way. There's a lot going on. Even the commentators in the actual box are stressing out because they have no idea who's going where. And Taki's vision is sharp, and that pick and go inside the 5 hertz. There's a snooze. That kick hasn't found touch. Brilliant bit of work there from Caleb Tangitao out on the wing. Now kicked him behind. Zahn Sullivan sits up nicely for Sean Stevenson. That one should not find touch. It's actually come back inwards. Now Zahn Sullivan takes it nicely. A pass to Tuivasa Shek. Now another pass. Bryce Seam look for the quick hands to AJ Lamb. Goes into touch. It looked like Kalen Boshia wanted to keep that one rolling. Peter Gus, of course, number 28 for this matchup. And good morning from the UK. Welcome in, Kev. You are doing very well, mate. Love commentary game, says Brandon. We've got plenty more coming. The whole Super Rugby Pacific season, we are going to be doing a multitude of games. I always say when a season's starting, we're going to be doing 90% of the matches just because the 100 is very hard to guarantee, but a lot of Super Rugby. Last year, we did 100% of the matches. This year, we are hoping to do relatively close to the same. Now, Brad Weber, little grubber in behind, finds the hands beautifully. Alatino, now Satori, he's been taken out extremely late, and it's going back for the penalty. I think I don't like my commentary. Wait, so you don't like your own commentary, Brad? Is that what you're saying? You don't like your own commentary? That looks like might actually be Mali, who's got a bit of an injury, who's got hamstrings the size of like a ham roast that you get at Christmas time. That is a massive, massive hamstring. Yeah, it was. I mean, two of us are shit there. You feel slightly bad for him because, like, he had time to pull out. The other guy had time to pull out as well, but no one decided to pull out. So they just kind of went, "Are you doing anything tomorrow?" We have got the URC tomorrow. Yeah, Daniel Rona not looking flash. He's the one with the hamstring and the ham hogs of hamstrings. He's going to be going off the field in the 53rd minute. I was like, morning, Kev Shaw, welcome in. Yeah, he don't look good. He looked like he's going to have a hard time getting off the field. Right. Tokiaho now, the line-out drive just about to come for the Chiefs. Nicely taken by big Brody Retallick. Came on for the second third of this match. That's going to be a weird one to get used to saying, but luckily it's only preseason, so we don't have to. Now Tokiaho rolling closer to the line off the back. He's going to be impossible to stop from there. And Samasoni Tokiaho gets another for the Blues. They move up to 31 now. And then I would have pulled out prematurely, says Nazi Williams. True. Although I think it was weird because both guys kind of just sat there like, you're going to move. It's like a game of chicken, isn't it? You know, when two people run at each other and then the goal is to be the last person to turn away. They just went, they just clapped together. I thought there was a person behind me, but they are no longer there. I was going to ask for a cricket update in the Black Cats match, but what I can do is I can use Google. NZ versus England. The Kiwis were 7 down at the time that I did end up leaving them. They're now 8 down. They've got 240 for 8, trailing by 85 runs for anyone curious. Dalkey playing for the Blues, Sammy? No, he is. Sorry, wrong side. I gave the try to the Blues, didn't I? I apologise for that, for the Chiefs supporters. But it was a try to the Chiefs, and they converted. So the score now going to be 26 points to 21. My apologies. Yeah, I got too excited. That happens, unfortunately. Right, 54 minutes through, which means we've got another 6 minutes until our second little 5-minute or so break of the matchup. And last time I pulled out premature. I knew something was coming. I pulled out of that sentence prematurely, my doll. But angry. Anyway, sorry, it's too much information. Says Nazi Williams. Mm, and Sullivan. 40 meters out now. 35. Anton Seg. No, that's Plain Plumtree. And damn, I didn't know Savasoni moved to the Blues, says Rick. And there, geez, that would be a signing and a half, though, wouldn't it? Sorry, apologies, says Nazi Williams. No, it's all right. It sounds like you should be apologising to the old doll rather than me. Aiden Ross. Now goes to Weber. Damian McKenzie, quick hands, beautifully done there from the Chiefs. Now nice pass on the outside. No space at all for Solomon Alai Marlo. He pretty much just had to get run into by AJ Lamb. Now McKenzie with the 30 on his back. Certainly a skilled individual. Weber, short ball back, Brody Retallick with the bump off of Milo Harris, but he's managed to get that ball. It's going back for the penalty. And Hemi, I was like, if I then thought, hey, the Blues, says the snooze. Who's going to win Super Rugby? Blues or Crusaders definitely front runners, but you never know. Could be an upset on the cards. Maybe the Hurricanes could be an option. They just beat the Crusaders in preseason, but of course, preseason. Which position do you think we lack the most depth in at New Zealand or in New Zealand? I would say in a year or two it might be hooker, but for now, I think it's probably right wing in a way, or lock, one of the locks. Definitely once Retallick and Whitelock go. But yeah, currently probably like we have wingers, but we just don't have a genuine right winger other than maybe Sever Reese, you'd say. But other than him, like we seem to really struggle. Beautifully done by the Chiefs. Just that little grubber, Sean Stevenson swats on it. And now the Chiefs will take the lead in this match. I don't mind doing the odd politically incorrect one. Mate, George leads the way. He does. He does very much so. George on a live stream is just a recipe for people who normally listen for the commentary to go, what did he just say? The Highlanders, I mean, they've got a decent side, the Highlanders. I just worried that it may be like a couple of the other years, how the injuries might plague them a little bit. They do end up normally with quite an injury list. Now, 26-26. Should be a nice, easy kick as well. And like they've just said, the Chiefs have made some big changes. Tupavai, Samasoni Takiaho, also Brad Weber, Brody Retallick, Damian McKenzie, Nanai Satoro, and all of a sudden the Chiefs are starting to roll, sitting 28 points to 26. Crowd is certainly going to get their money worth, definitely because they get an extra 10 minutes. It's like buy 80 minutes, get 10 minutes free. I was trying to do the maths in my head. That'd be like you get like 12.5% free or something around there. Probably not correct. There's a big yawn. And yeah, that's fair. We've got some pretty good outside backs coming through. So I think we'll be good for the future, in my opinion. Yeah, as long as we play genuine right wingers on the right wing, like I don't want to see a Geordie Barrett back out there. Will Jordan, it annoys me because he is such a great fullback. But if that's what they're going to do, you've got to keep him there rather than switching him every once in a while. Now it's an advantage, a knock on from the Blues. Or Brody's not too happy with Milo Harris. Brody Retallick could eat Milo Harris if he had to. And every player will be pushing to find their form this year. Rugby World Cup 2023 on the calendar in 7 months. It's getting closer. I remember when I was counting down the days and it was like 780 days. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be here soon. Knowing farewell that it was gonna be a long time. But now it is gonna be soon. It'll be cool to see no Blues and Crusaders who would win if they weren't there. I think Hurricanes or Chiefs probably have a good chance. Or maybe Highlanders I like, but whether or not they can They will. Brad Weber. 30 seconds left in the second third of the match. It's like playing hockey. Weber almost through great work from Tame Plumtree to be able to catch him. I think he's going to be a little bit of an underutilized aspect of this Blues loose forward trio. Brumbies will be up there for sure, says Amrit. Yep, Brumbies and the Reds as well. Here's a wild card, Fiji and Drua. When they get it right, they're dangerous. McKenzie. Did it go backwards? They've said that it has. Now, Tino Nana Satoro, another touch for him. Up to 57 minutes. It's actually ended up reversing the time quite a bit there. There was wood, bro. I can't spell, says Rick. Don't worry, I'm used to people misspelling things, so I normally know what you mean. Don't say that, you'll get Master's hopes up, says Nazi Williams. That is true. See, he's Brumbies through and through, isn't he? Oh, Master Mel. Brady Retallick tackled. Brad Weber. It's gone backwards. Damien McKenzie. Wide cut out pass again. Seems to be the tactic. Bounce pass to Latino Nana Satoro, who's just bumped off Caleb Tangi Tau. Oh, McKenzie goes to Peter Gus. So a call offload. This Samasoni Tolkiaho. Some good speed when he gets going. Now Caleb Boshier tries to break through. Another good tackle made. All push and shove between Zahn Sullivan and the number 25. Secondary roll penalty goes the way of the Blues. Moo. Says Obi. In October and November, will you stream the ODI World Cup in India? I want you to. It's tricky because we have received a copyright strike from a Cricket World Cup before. So we don't want another one of those. Definitely not around the same time as something as big as a Cricket World Cup. Or sorry, as big as a Rugby World Cup. So we probably won't do the ODI World Cup, mainly because of how long those games are compared to the T20s. But we'll probably end up doing some sort of cricket alongside what we normally do as well. So Ani Vakina throws the ball. And of course, not forgetting, we've got the Ashes this year that we're going to be able to cover. Now, Damien McKenzie goes back across, kicked him behind, looking for that grubber. It does find touch. And now the Blues, 10 metres out from their line, will have themselves a line out. Dino Nanasatoro was also an AB Sevens player too. He was. So I don't believe in any of the younger age groups they would have come up against each other that I know of. But both played on the Sevens circuit a little bit. Who else has come from Sevens? Did Sean Stevenson, was he a Sevens guy back in the day? I know way back, we had a Kira Ioane, Rico Ioane. They were both Sevens guys for a while. Artie Savio, I think, even might have had a bit of a crack at Sevens. Should have stayed with the Warriors. He's fell off now, says Nazi Williams. And maybe the final if New Zealand make it. Says Cats are the best. Maybe the final. A weak attempt to turn the ball over. It's just been said for Cameron Suafua, Caleb Clark as well. Says Rick, yeah, when you look at the talent that we've had through Sevens in the past, like we've got a real good list. And the list is forever growing. You know, you've got these young guys coming through. Akulia Rokali Soa, I don't think would consider Union, mainly because I don't think he's quite got that frame that he likes. But someone like a Shay Clark, who's still very young in his Sevens career, seems to be lately at least one player from Sevens signs for a Union club. Like during, what was it? It was during the Bunnings NBC, we saw Andrew Newstub in there as well. Sevens is Courtyard. Says this news, and imagine our 15s players like Jordan, Bodie, Richie, Geordie playing in the Sevens. Says Rick. Yeah, would be pretty awesome. We actually did a video on the channel ages ago how we put Bowden Barrett, the Ioanes, Richie Moonga, and a whole heap of guys. This was on Rugby Challenge. And yeah, we put them up against the Fijians. And it was a tough game. Cullen. And there was says Obi, and says George, welcome in, George. Did Clark actually get a run, though? Says Nazi Williams. No. He was just there as a replacement, wasn't he? He never actually played throughout that Olympics. And it kind of cost him his All Black spot for a while, too, because he decided to take a little bit of time away from the Union side of things. Now, Got ourselves another scrum. It's a better push from the Chiefs that time. Damien McKenzie thought he was going to be able to bulldoze over them. Remembered he weighs about 3 kgs and didn't get over. Brad Weber tries the same. He's been clattered. Only a couple out. Another advantage for offside. The second third's going to be a long one. All Paul Williams thought about giving that try. Now Takiaho, he's over. And the Chiefs get themselves another. Should be an easy conversion as well. And that will move them up to 35 points. And also, how does copyright work? Pretty much it is if you show any match footage or audio, you can get copyright what is a strike. And what that means is they feel that you've illegally shown footage you don't have permission to show. But you can actually get copyright strikes for not showing it, which is a bit weird to say, but people can false strike you and stop you from being able to do those streams. Like you've got to be a big company to be able to do that. And normally they get away with it, striking down the littler YouTube channel. No, it's not. I don't want to yell it because I think my parents are watching the cricket, but that's a long R. It's kind of like when you're at the doctor and you've got a fever in there and they put the thingy on your tongue, the popsicle stick thing, I should mention, not their thingy. And you go, and they push it down like that. And Takiaho's scoring against the smaller team, yeah? Scored very quickly, didn't he? I was saying all the clowns complaining for you to show the game, says Nuzzy Williams. Yeah, we get that a lot. And then my favorite ones are just show a few seconds. You won't get copyrighted. And then you get copyrighted. And no, I don't get it, says George. Does your doctor not put a popsicle stick in your mouth, George? Does he put something else in there? Like a thermometer. Yeah, it's a little bit different, but still does the same thing. And how's there no defense? I think it's just both sides. When they're 5 meters out, are just very good at getting over the line. I should stop my clock. We'll stop there. Here we go. Where we stop it. 6:01. So we'll go back. Boom, 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 boom. Is that correct? No. 1 minute off. There we go. Oh, very good there. The laughing face from Inky. Advertising me a car that's $60,000. I'm a YouTuber. I can't afford a $6,000 car. Are you ever think of collabing with other New Zealand rugby YouTubers like 2 Cents Rugby, the Black Jersey? Me and 2 Cents, we've been in talks for a very long time about trying to find the perfect video to collab, because the thing is, now that we've waited like 2 years, it has to be a good video. We can't put out one that like we're not happy with. So we've talked quite a few times. He's also very close with Distracted Sports, who we've had on the channel quite a few times as well. So 3 of us have chatted. We want to find the perfect video. It's just finding the video that we're going to do. Like a prediction of a season's all well and good, but I feel like it's got to be just, it's got to be a 9 or 10 out of 10 video. Has to be World Cup, says the snooze. Yeah, or some sort of series, that we get to do multiple videos of. Who knows? Maybe like a Super Rugby weekly prediction quiz, or not quiz, but like I don't know, some sort of points tally type thing with me, him, and Distracted Sports. Could be an idea. Oh, a Suzuki Ignis. That one's like 30 grand. These cars, they're expensive, aren't they? Unfortunately, but you need one to be able to move around unless you like walking. Walking is very fun. Now just showing the advertisement for Super Rugby Pacific. Not too far away. Next weekend, we are going to be in action for multiple games. We get to see Blues versus Highlanders, Crusaders versus Chiefs, Moana Pacifica versus the Fijian Drua, the Brumbies. They will be taking on the Waratahs, Western Force versus Rebels, and Hurricanes versus Reds. Is that the game that I missed? I pretty much listed them all without thinking about them. Sam's only not really sharing those meat pies. Nah, but he's scoring a lot of them, isn't he? We're enjoying them big time. The second half or second third period, I guess I should say. So what we will do now is we'll go here and we will change it to say that it is the second half of the match, even though it's kind of yes, but kind of no. So we've still got another 30 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, of this matchup that will be taking place. Anyone wondering where I am going at the moment, don't panic. I am just quickly changing the battery of the camera because we will be charging these up for our video tomorrow. And they all take about 2.5 hours to charge, so this works out well. Grab that. Put that there. Wait, did anyone see where I put that battery? Did I just throw it back in the pile that didn't have charged batteries in it? Am I a goose? I think I'm a goose. Where did I put that battery? No, it's there. Okay, we're all right. I'll put it over there. We're good. I thought I put it back in the pile that still needs to be charged, which wouldn't be nice. Currently, the Chiefs 35 points to 26 ahead in this matchup. They're just talking to Finley Christie, actually a mid-match interview. Yeah, Finley Christie said that he's done for the day. He might have a few beers later. All right. Nice way to spend the evening. Right. Third, getting underway. The final third of this matchup. They kick long. Satora. This time he's lined up by Caleb Tungitau. Forces him backwards, trying to get a little bit of it back from that earlier big shot. Was D-Mac playing today? He was. I think he's still out there on the field at the moment for the Chiefs, but he's been playing fly half rather than 15. And yep, he is there. He's just kicked that ball down the middle of the field. Nicely taken at the back by Jacob Ratamaitavuki. Nepkins goes across to Sullivan. Now to AJ Lamb. This is his first run in open space. He's tried to step, broke through one tackle, but he's tackled in the end by big Brody Retallick. Bit of a workhorse as well, Brody, and he's won the penalty. Having a 2 40-minute halves. Pretty much the only reason they're doing 3/3 here is because of preseason. And it's kind of just rolling subs as well type thing. So during the regular season, it will be just 2 40 minutes like a normal game. But now, because there's so many players they want to get through, they've decided to play slightly longer. And Leinster and Crusaders would dominate if they combined together. Says Amric. There as well. But now, Paul Williams. Simisoni Tokiaho throwing the ball and stolen by the Blues that time. Milo Harris has to run it back. Anton Segner now across the Lamb. Ratamaitavuki Nepkins gives it to him, who will kick it downfield. Looking for touch, doesn't find it. Nicely taken by Sean Stevenson. Now Liam Coons-Fabling, the youngster, who's actually no longer wearing his headgear. He actually used to wear it for the Bunnings EBC. Decided now that he's in Super Rugby, doesn't want it anymore. Looks like it is going to be the penalty advantage for the Chiefs as well. Now Mackenzie has to have a bit of a juggle. Bumps off the tackle of James Tucker. That'll be one that he'll be happy about. Now they will go back for the penalty again. Also, we have got Nazi Williams. Has Nazi Williams one come through? Ho ha hey. I think it's not put whatever Nazi Williams had. Unless you're referring to his haha earlier. Are you referring to his haha earlier? Because if not, I think my chat has decided not to show the message. Right, Liam Coons-Fabling. Still on the field. Now, waiting for this one. They took their time, but they managed to find the hands of Sama Penny now. Now Mackenzie back across, all rush defense. And ended up putting the pressure on Tino Satoro. I believe it was AJ Lamb. I'm not sure. I think the chat's glitching. Hurricanes beat the Crusaders. Right, it's going to be a yellow card for Sawane Vakena. Both sides before the match agreed that they can just keep on playing, but just not that player who gets the card, so they'll just rotate to someone else now. And speaking of Leinster and the Crusaders, if there was a way to fit in a World Club Cup or Club World Cup into an already stacked rugby calendar, says Semi Sosa. Yeah, it would be awesome. It'd be tough though, wouldn't it? And 31-26, says Max there. All right, 10 meters out now. The Chiefs, a lot more position recently. Very Retallick, and that maybe they had joined the ruck or the maul just a little bit early. Still asking for the penalty. Takiaho, he doesn't care. He's ready to roll it forward if they get the chance. Okay. They might consider rolling this one off now. James Tucker almost got his hands on the ball. Weber does well to get it out. Now McKenzie, nice sling and pass. Here comes a Tinanana Satora, the pace of him. And he's got it in for the try. Another one for the Chiefs. Boom, boom. How? We'll give them the 7 points. Why not? It's pre-season. 42-26. Is Anton eligible for the All Blacks yet? I think so. I just joined your Discord group, Hamish, says Sammy Sosa. And yeah, so that's 3 new members today. Lovely. Where is it? Is your name Heinem? Are you Heinem or Blesses? Sammy Sosa. Which one are you? Out of those two. Damn, says Inky. Should be, bro. Says Nate. Right, McKenzie. Should be a nice, easy kick. It's weird that we're still got another 25 minutes left. I was a big fan of Anton. Says Nazi Williams, 42 points to 26. So 16-point lead at the moment for the Chiefs. And Idiom, it's a pseudonym. Pseudonym. Now I got to remember what a pseudonym is. That's not the one that like you reverse it, is it? Because it would be Monet. Is it Monet? I don't think so. No home though, says Nazi Williams. No home. Is that what it like corrected to? 25 out from their own line here, the Chiefs. All now available. Weber did have his hands on the ball. He's under pressure. The German playing open side at the moment. Good to see a Rangi trial some anywhere in loosey position. Says Nate. That's the thing. The Blues have a lot of players that they're going to struggle to fit into one side throughout this year. Like, even if they went with 2 full 15 sides, like they've still got extra numbers that they'll have to try and fit in. Blues says Nazi Williams. Like, even that loose forward trio, you look at what they've got. They've got Anton Segner, Cameron Suafua. He's shown that if he goes in that loose forward trio, it could be effective, but more than likely might find himself as a lock. You've got Akira Ioane, Dalton Papali'i, Hoskin Satutu. Then alongside that, you've got Rob Rush, if you consider him. He's there as a 6. And then also you've got Adrian Choate, Tolfa Funaki, Tane Plumtree. I think that's everyone. And maybe Leo Gordon. So there's a lot. Also, it's a random name I came up with, Hamish. And have we got gone back to 2 Bledisloe? Puts the Wallabies at a disadvantage to regain, says Dave. Yeah, sadly, it is just a 2-leg of the Bledisloe Cup again. Which, I mean, I don't know why they switched it. I don't know whether it's something to do with the other sides in the Rugby Championship. Maybe not being happy that New Zealand and Australia get an extra game to be able to, I guess, warm up. But if that was the reasoning, just play the Bledisloe after. Like, that's all you got to do to change it. Yeah, so I don't know why they went 2. Like, it doesn't make sense because, like, in terms of revenue-wise, you'd think more games equals more money, wouldn't you? You know, bit of a counter-ruck there from the Chiefs, and they do manage to get it back. Now, Damian McKenzie. Goes to a Tinanana Satoro. Almost kicked it into touch. Was the foot in touch from Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nipkins? You got a big decision to make here. It was. So it is now going to be the line out for the Chiefs, 20 metres out. Signa does have AB's aspirations. The question is how will make the cut with those stacked back rowers? Says Sammy Sosa. Yeah, it's tricky. Like breaking into the All Blacks is one thing, but staying in the All Blacks is another for these young guys. And Wallabies can have the Bledisloe Cup in 2 decades, says Nate. Now Brad Weber goes to McKenzie. Good attack and run. I thought that was Curtis Rona, but surely not. Or Daniel Rona, sorry. Counter ruck from Bryce Heem. Great work there. Back to his feet. Gets the clean. Oh, how has he not got that clean? I thought it was his. Yeah, it is. The penalty goes the way of the Blues. Heem having to get in there early on the body on the line. Even though preseason, these guys are going to go out there and give it the 110%. John Sullivan now kicking it downfield. Does find touch. Heem was able to clean up Brad Weber, then got back up to his feet. Got the hands on the ball and won the penalty. Playing number 27 for this matchup. That is one thing that when the Super Rugby season gets underway, I'll be happy about, is the fact that we don't have 50 players on each team that we're going to try and work out who's which number. It'll be nice and easy. Now McKenzie. Wide cutout pass, nicely into the hands of Sean Stevenson, playing number 35 for this match. Inside ball to Damien. McKenzie gives it off to Weber with the flat pass. Now 15 metres out from the line. Playing halfback. I believe that was George Dyer. Now again, it's going to be the big run from number 32. Is that Gideon Raplin? Now pop pass up. Only just out from the line, Kalen Boshier. Round the side again, Retallick thought about going over. He thought he had a crack, but they do need to get this ball wide. It's going with the cross kick from Damian McKenzie. It's taken by Ratamaitavuki Nipkins, and it is going to be the mark. Bit of a mistake there from Damian McKenzie, deciding to go for that kicking behind rather than just using it through the hands of the Chiefs back line. Great work, though, between McKenzie and Weber. I think that's going to be a dynamic, sure. I'm yawning a lot. I feel like it's the setup. I've got the lights in the wrong place. Also, having a test in a neutral country is a good way to export the game. True. Oh, here's a question, Dave. One in New Zealand, one in Australia. Where do you hold the third? In an ideal world, where would you like to see it? Fiji? Maybe? No. You need a bigger... I mean, I'll see it in Fiji, though. I know it's not a huge stadium, but there's going to be a lot of interest there. Japan? Japan's a little bit trickier because you do have to go so far away. Did they just say they've got 2 15s on the field? How are we supposed to follow that? I've been told to use it. So Corey Evans and also Ratamaitavuki Nipkins both wearing 15. Now Weber, another big run forward. The USA was an option for Ireland versus New Zealand a while ago, wasn't it? They actually played that game in, I think it was Chicago. That was the game that Ireland beat the All Blacks. Oh, stolen. Who's that? It's AJ Lamb. He's going to be on a runaway, but McKenzie, I think it's going to catch him. Oh, he goes low and nails him. In that tackle, look for the offload. It goes into touch because Milo Harris wasn't expecting it. Great work from Damian McKenzie. Hold it in the Chatham Islands, says Stephen. Also, you're going halfway in between or trying to at least get kind of close to it. What about Perth? No one counts Perth as Australia. At least they don't seem to for the cricket side of things, as I have learned. Optus Stadium, New Zealand actually don't have the best record there either, do they? Just asked Scott Barrett. And actually asked Geordie Barrett too. Both of them got red cards in Perth. Still waiting for the Bowden one as well. McKenzie kicks it downfield into touch. That game woke up the Giants, says the snooze. I think Jeff Wilson, sorry, has actually just mentioned that maybe Damian McKenzie should be off the field soon, just because you don't want to risk him. That was high. Tried to slap him on his cheek in the process. It's going to be the penalty. That was no number, man. You end up with no number when they go up to like 40 in this game. That means he's 41. Back across again. Brodie Retallick receives the bounce pass. D-Mac a lion chasing down a lamb. Says Jobo. No. Says Nate. Another advantage. Weber puts it back. Little cross kick attempted by Damian McKenzie. Goes out on the full. Going back for the penalty, though. Anyone wondering about New Zealand versus England at the moment? New Zealand trailing by 51 runs up against England. 274 for 9. Currently still at the crease. They have got the following. Tom Blundell. 109 off 157 balls. That's exactly what the Kiwis needed. Someone to dig in and stick around. And then also Blair Tickness at the non-strikers end. He's faced 12 balls, yet to score himself a run, but I'd like to think he'd be feeding the strike to Blundell. We'll try and cut that down to maybe around that 30 to 40 mark before England have another bat tonight, and that's when you need your wickets for the Kiwis. In fact, that's going to work out quite nicely. We might get to watch a bit of that. Just not on stream, just because it will be about halfway through. But it's currently in the final session of the day, I should mention. Blundell actually moved up to 113 now, so he got himself another boundary. Now back to the rugby. Going to be Tupovai, or Tupovai. Messed that name up massively. Here comes Brodie Retallick. Bit of a counter ruck from the Blues there, just players swarming in. Looks like the Chiefs have been able to take it back, though. Rio Dyer has to play half. In fact, it's George Dyer. Who's Rio Dyer? He's another rugby player. Who does he play for, though? Rio Dyer. Who's Rio Dyer, ladies and gentlemen? Do let me know. That name is so familiar. I know Eric Dyer. He's a footballer. It's Rio Dyer. Penalty goes the way of the Blues. Still 15 minutes left. Deep breaths being taken by these two sides. Arne Sullivan looks for touch. Does manage to find it about 45 metres out from their own line. Is Rio Dyer Welsh? Wales, says Nate there. Rio Dyer. He's the winger, isn't he? The left winger. Rio Dyer, that's the name. And I was correct. Ireland upset us in Chicago. Japan would get a good crowd. It would. And there's something so special about playing in Japan just because, like, the crowd are such knowledgeable rugby supporters. Because, you know, you just, anytime there's a little play or something that most people elsewhere would just go, oh, yeah, nah, it was all right. Like, you hear a nice wee applause in Japan. Like, when a player makes a good break and then ends up, like, with someone in the breakdown doing well, getting the turnover, you'll hear the applause for them as well. I think it's just very nice to play there. Rio Dyer is from Rio de Janeiro. And Dan Bigger was screaming at him, Rio Dyer. He was, wasn't he? Dan Bigger around the side. Nicely picked up by Milo Harris. Found the offload up to AJ Lamb. Beautiful ball to Arne Sullivan. And that will be the first try of this third and the first try in about maybe 20 minutes for the Blues at this stage. So we will go boom, boom, pow. We'll give them all the points available. 33 to 42. Still time left on the clock. The confusing part here is it's not an 80-minute game. It's actually a 90-minute game. So they've still got 13 minutes remaining in this fixture. Hopefully I didn't jinx New Zealand in the cricket. Are they still going? Yeah, no, they're still going. Good. I think it's going to work out very well. Anyone who's going to be watching that England-New Zealand test match, this game, I believe, is going to be finishing at around the time that England just about is starting to bat. Sullivan, future All Black, yeah. He's got a bright future, Arne Sullivan. Haircut, questionable, but bright future. Owen Barrett running drinks today. Kurt Eklund out there on the field. Let's hope he doesn't suplex anyone this year. Why is it a 90-minute game? Just because it's preseason. And because both sides have about 40 players that they wanted to play. So they just went with 3/3 rather than 2 halves. It's weird in a way, but I guess it makes sense with so many players. And also the yellow card rule, they changed it for this match. Both sides just equally agreed. If anyone gets a yellow card, they just get subbed, pretty much. Now it's going to be the rolling maul for the Blues, just out from their own 22. Milo Harris, he might have quite a big role to play this year for the Blues. Haven't got Jonathan Ruru. Who's the other Blues halfback that I can't think of at the moment? Other than Lasate, Milo Harris, and Finley Christie. Who was the other guy that they had? Ruru left a while ago. Talfa Funaki, wasn't it? He hasn't played much in this game at all, I don't think. Now, D-Mac gets the ball, passes off to Ramika Poihipi. You're saying it might have been forward. It's gone into touch anyway. No, I said it play on. I think they've just decided why not just keep this game rolling. Zahn Sullivan now tries to break the line. Tupavai, he wasn't going to be trying to make that tackle. Instead, looking for that interception. Sam knocked that is true as well. Another option for them. Jump on that ball. That is Kurt Eklund. Nicely done. I can see why the 90-minute game was for everyone to have a go. Here's Sammy Souza. And been a minute since hearing about the Cat Boys. We going there, Hammy? Hearing about the Cat Boys. So we won't be doing the live stream tonight, just because there will only be about an hour left by the time we do finish this live stream, which is still a relatively long time. But hopefully we get either some Black Caps tomorrow evening or Sunday. I think it's going to be our Black Caps day as well, as long as the test match is still going, which I hope it is. I hope it goes close to the 5 days. Ideally for England, they'll want to set a total for New Zealand to chase of somewhere around that 300, maybe 350. So that will take 10 overs for England, because that's the way that they're batting at the moment. No, it will take a 80 overs, 70 overs, something like that, because they go at about 5 and over, don't they? The English. Now, 79 minutes through this matchup at the moment, 10 minutes to go, with it being 90. I should mention, anyone who does enjoy the test match cricket, and anyone who hasn't already, be sure to check out that GoPro cricket video that we have got up on the channel. We've got a couple of them. We've got plenty more coming in the future. We've got one that's still being edited, plus I'm playing tomorrow and recording it. So we'll have another one to be able to witness. I feel like I'm slowly improving compared to how I went in that first match. That's going to be accidental offside. It's a knock on, and the scrum now for the Chiefs. I wonder how many of the people in attendance don't realise this game is a 90-minute fixture. So we'll be sitting there at 80 minutes thinking, right, time to go home. And then the players would just keep on going and going and going. Milo Harris, you can see he's disappointed with that knock on. Still quite a few handling errors for both sides throughout this matchup. Same with discipline, and letting them down a little bit. And thought they'd split the game into quarters, says Sammy Souza. Yeah, I guess game of quarters could be an option, like 20-minute little breaks. Or is it in Tui Tupo now on the field? I know someone was asking about him earlier on. He's now out there on the park. Sanasan Tui Tupo, as they've just said now. Brad Weber, good step, a good shot on him by AJ Lamb. Takes him down nicely now. It looks like Simasoni Tokiaho is going to be playing halfback. Goes across to Kalen Boshi, who almost got a headbutt from his teammate in the process. Now back into the pocket to Damian McKenzie. Good kick on that one. Manages to find the touchline. And Black Cats are 287 for 9 after blind 100. Will you cover the last session? We won't be, just because the last session has already started. We've been keeping an eye on it. We've been keeping everyone updated with what's happening in that one. But Blundell definitely batting brilliantly for the Kiwis. He was on 113 that I last saw. Now he's on 121, so he's still ticking over well. And those are all valuable runs, because New Zealand now only trail by 38. Now James Tucker will be rolling forward again. I see that my scoreboard is about a minute ahead in terms of time. So what we'll quickly do is we'll just chuck it back a minute. There we go. Sorted. Oh, little knock on, I thought, but they've said it's gone backwards from Milo Harris. So the Blues will continue with the possession. Tane Plumtree just stands, slams himself at the line. Oh, counter ruck again. It's gone backwards again, though. Now, AJ Lamb doesn't really have too many passing options at the moment. Just sent one of the Chiefs players flying. I believe it was some Benny Finau who did manage to bump off. Now, Milo Harris goes to Tucker again. Starting to get hard to tell who is still out on the park, definitely with so many different numbers. Bryce Heem, now one more. I see that Caleb Tungi Tail's no longer out on his wing. Instead, it is Nigel Awong, who has just dropped that ball. He's disappointed about it as well. And these guys play rugby from the morning to when the street lights come on. The Factor plays an extra 2 hours to take the hiding, says the Snooze. And Highlanders beat Moana 33 points to 26. So that's a closer game compared to what we saw for Moana Pacific and the Chiefs last week. How was your training, Hamish? How much you scored? Please disclose. So he's going it's not a scoring type of practice. Like you're pretty much in a net and your whole team's just bowling at you type thing. Like you take turns bowling and batting as a side. So it's just a net session type thing. So there's no runs, you could say. If your Uncle Jack helped you off a horse, would you help your uncle off a horse? Sure. I know that my dad broke his arm on a horse because my granddad wanted to see if it was one that would buck, and it did. So, yeah, my dad got bucked off a horse. Getting kicked by a horse would hurt, though, wouldn't it? See how I avoided that? I can see what you're doing, Sam. And thanks, Blues Nate. And cheers for the updates, Coding. Always reporting and on the Cat Boys 10 out of 10. And at least both teams here know what a soccer game feels like playing for that long, says Sammy Souza. Although if they're playing like the new football rules, they'll have to add an extra 10 minutes for extra time, won't they? Some of those games at the World Cup going for like 105 minutes, somewhere around there. Right. Isidin Tuitupo on for the Blues. He's at number 23. Quite the haircut. I bet the Chiefs were delighted to get rid of Belly and Gatlin. Paul Wales says far. Although they left his son, Bryn Gatlin. He's still there at the Chiefs. Holding the Gatlin name in there for the Waikato. Is Peter Gasoakula sleeping or is he just chilling? He's just chilling. He was just like, I'll lie here for a bit. 5 minutes left. Oh, unlucky. Did he tackle him a little bit early? Coombs Fabling, he did. So that penalty is going to go the way of the Blues again. Or in fact, the advantage. Now, Tuitupo. It's that ball. He's at number 23 for this match. If they go short side, it could be danger. And instead, he does try and pierce around the side. He's been hit hard in the tackle. Now, James Tucker. He's got the 6 on his back, but normally plays lock. Now, Zahn Sullivan goes to Bryson. Cut out pass almost over the head of Nigel Awong, who just stays in the field of play. Damian McKenzie waiting for this one to bounce 5 meters out from his line. Starting to run it back. Runs straight into his teammate. That's not ideal. That's just uneconomical, isn't it? Now, kicked him behind by the number 22 for the Chiefs, and this time it sits up beautiful, quick hands. Kicked him behind again. This is classy stuff from the Chiefs. Grub it forward, waiting for the bounce of the ball. It sits up for Sean Stevenson, who puts it down easy as you like. And the Chiefs, that might just be the one that keeps them in the lead for this matchup. 47 points to 33 now. Which team are you supporting here? I don't mind either side, and they've both got very good teams out there on the field, or very good squads. And also, soccer is a no-contact sport, so of course, been playing 90 minutes. And what a try set up by the Blues, says Jobo. Yeah. The thing is, if Etino Nene Satoro scored it, it was definitely going to be going around the social media channels. But because Sean Stevenson scored it, it's going to go on them for a different reason. It's pretty much the easiest try you're going to get is the ball just sits up for you. You go, yeah, cheers, and put it down when you're only 2 meters out from the line. Damian McKenzie, 4 from 4 with the kicking tee. And Dramatics free, of course. This is Sammy Souza. Right, McKenzie taking some deep breaths for this one. 3 minutes left. I should mention New Zealand Still 9 down, trailing by 29 runs here. Blundell moves up to 130 not out. Blair Tickner sitting on 1 off 18 balls. And in the New Zealand Cup final versus Auckland in my Be a Pro, says Sam Henry, that kick is actually unsuccessful from Damien McKenzie, so he hasn't missed a lot today. That is one. 3 minutes remaining. Now, some may say, why is your clock sitting on 87? A game of rugby only goes for 80 minutes, you silly goose. But this one is different. 3/3. Unique. Something that we won't see in international rugby or anything along those lines anytime soon, I wouldn't think. But also saying that you don't normally have about 35 players that are all rotating. Now pass back across. And that is another reason. Someone earlier on asked why there wasn't much defense from either side. The other reason behind it is because you're constantly getting fresh players out there on the field. So you're always going to have that quick burst of speed that you see from some players like that against old or slightly more tired players. They must be really tired players. Although some have only had to play maybe, I'd say some have played 60 minutes. I don't think there's too many who have played any longer than that in this matchup. Not rolling away penalty against Peter Sowakula, so Zahn Sullivan will be able to kick this one into touch. Just the 1 minute 30 left. The forwards in soccer can probably match the backs, says the snooze. But 22 out. That Zahn Sullivan haircut, it looks a bit strange. I'm sure he thinks it looks good, which is the main thing. Basically a substitute every 30 minutes in this trial match, says Semi Souza. Yep. Now Kerr Eklund throws it in. Well, they've just said 80 points scored throughout 88 minutes of action. Marcel Renato around the side, stolen clean. No penalty goes the way of the Blues again. Thinking about the quick tap here for Milo Harris. Instead, they will just kick this one for touch. He puts it out himself, and now about 7 meters out from the line, they will have themselves another line-out opportunity. There's the siren, which does now mean that they've got one last attack to try and shut the score down a little bit more. Now slap back onto their side. Tane Robinson gets a Milo Harris short ball to no number. Now, if I said I know who no number was, I'd be lying, which I think is why he's called no number. Milo Harris goes to James Tucker. Now Milo Harris again, going to the left-hand side. Nice bit of work with the footwork, but it's been stripped. It's going to be the knock-on, and that is the end of the matchup. Final score, quite a high one, ladies and gentlemen. It is 80 points on the board between them. We'll quickly go like that, and we will go like that. There we go. End score 47 to 33, and basically a substitute. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? How's Billy doing? Unfortunately, Billy did pass away in November. Yeah, little fella's. I'm not sure how he's doing now, but yeah, you're not good. Well, don't know. Good or not good? You don't know, do you? Where do cats go? That's the question. I thought there was another half. Says Sam, nah, just the 3/3 in this matchup. He's good. Hugh Hefner got evicted, says Nate there. But Brad Weber, send him prayers to Hawke's Bay from the devastation of the floods. See a lot of the Blues players walking in the background. Mark Talia there. Who else didn't we see for the Blues? We didn't see Bowden Barrett. It's a few other players who didn't really get too much time out there on the field. Not really a big win. It's only the Blues after all, says Jobo. And also the Chiefs, says Sungy there. Oh, I'm sorry, says Far. No, it's okay. He was like, it was old age that like got him in the end. So he was probably 17 and a half, 18. Like he's almost as old as me. He probably had quite a long cat life. I think someone mentioned that it's like 110 human years and cat years or something. Hello, Hamish. Hope you are well. Which other New Zealand teams are playing today? Are you doing the URC games on Saturday? So, Other teams, they've actually already played. Highlanders played Moana Pacifica, got themselves the victory by about, I think it was 10 points or somewhere along those lines. Crusaders played the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes won 31 points to 26. And we are going to be doing both South African derbies of the URC tomorrow night. And that will be after I play cricket. I'm probably going to sleep before it, maybe if I'm lucky. But either way, we're going to be doing both of those matchups anyway. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And Super is probably going to tell a different story, says the snooze and high scoring. Says Sam Henry there as well. Yeah, 80 points out there on the park between the sides. Chiefs doing very well. We was very happy to have Damien McKenzie back, he's just said. Are we going to catch a fish this weekend? Says George, maybe, if we're lucky. They don't seem to like us, though, do they, George? The old fish. Blundell moving up to 134. This is great work from the Black Cats because they didn't have much of a shot of winning this game. And now they're at 37%, with Blundell sitting on 134 of 176 deliveries. New Zealand, they've brought up the 300 runs. And thanks a lot, love your commentary, says Andre. Appreciate you being here, man. Thank you for the commentary, Amy. No worries. And we will have plenty more coming up this weekend, whether it is rugby, maybe some rugby league on Sunday, also some cricket at some stage in the near future as well. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.